Hello and welcome. My name is Svetlana Stone. You are here at Public Media Network, where we believe it's essential for artist voices to be heard. And we are pleased to have Zach Dubay, a local musician, to learn about what does it take, what does it mean to be a musician at 21st century. Thank you for watching us. Hi, Zach. How are you tonight?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm great. So how was your road? I know you're from Grand Rapids?
Yep. Yeah, it was about a 50-minute drive. Yeah, I usually cruise it pretty quick, so yeah, and I didn't want to be late for this.
So everything was smooth and great.
Yep, no ice.
So we are glad to have you here, and I'm eager to learn about you. Could you tell us more about yourself?
Yeah, so I'm a drummer. I'm 21. I live in the Grand Rapids area. I live in a small town called Belmont. It's between Grand Rapids and Rockford. And I play with a few different groups, ranging from jam, funk kind of stuff, to country group that I'm kind of doing some stuff with, and some buddies that kind of play in that realm. And then I got the gig with a band called the Verve Pipe last year, so I've been having fun trying to, network and connect with all the people kind of in and around that kind of scene. So I'm trying to do what I can,
So why is the drum? I mean, how old you were when you were introduced to music, and why the drummers? And did you go to school for that, or it was just naturally come to you?
Yeah, it was in the beginning because my mom's brother, so my uncle lived with my family for a little bit, like right before I was born, and he had a drum set that he left at the house. So so I got to just like sit on that and tap it with sticks and hands and like see what it was all about. And it was interesting to like hear the tones, and like you could hit the side of the drum and it made a cool sound, to like a 2-year-old it was just amazing, but it really started because there was a lot of music in the house. My dad played guitar and a little bit of drums, but it was a lot of classic rock, a lot of soul funk kind of stuff. My parents really liked some Bill Withers, if you wanted like some artists. A lot of Zeppelin, a lot of Eagles, a little bit of country in there too, because my mom's from Texas, so we had to get down a little bit. But yeah, it was getting everything they gave me in terms of influence and people to listen to, and then really starting to venture out to more like drummy stuff, so there was a band my brother showed me when I was a kid called Dave Matthews Band, which is my favorite band of all time still, but that just like rocked my world, the drumming on that as a 8 or 9-year-old was just like, whoa. So that brought me to a new place of like, oh, this is how you can, still play tastefully, but it's a little busier and it's a little more like conversational. You know, it's kind of like more of a jazz approach where it's not just like you're holding boom, bounce, boom for, you know, 3 or 4 or 5 minutes. It's really like, you know, if you have a guitarist that's maybe taking a solo, you start to interject a little bit of your own kind of soul and flavor into it.
So what style of music do you play?
Mainly just by nature and what people have kind of gotten from me. It's a lot of, it was a lot of rock stuff. My first band was like kind of a prog rock band, so it was like Mars Volta meets Zeppelin meets some crazy 16-year-olds that are just trying to make some cool stuff. But in the last like 4 or 5 years, I've gotten to play with a lot more people. So it's been a lot of funk stuff, like R&B funk stuff, especially playing like at some bars and like open mics and stuff. They'll call covers from like the soul realm. You know, we'll do some. I almost said Aretha Franklin, but it was Tina Turner and Bill Withers, like all the time, and some Isley Brothers. And a lot of it's, especially in the last like 2 years, has been original music. So I'll play with a buddy. His name's Austin Benzing. He was in a band called Benzing Graves Collective. He's in another group now. I can't think of the name, so I'm sorry. But he's like a really, really, really talented country guitarist. And he's got an amazing voice too. So me and him might do some more stuff in the next month or two. But yeah, there's like, that's like more of a country kind of vibe. And then there's another band I play with called Cosmic Knot, which is like, if you took Dave Matthews Band and like some Humphreys McGee, it's like very jam band. So like they'll have solo sections that instead of like, you know, a 16 bar, 32 bar, like, hey, you take your solo that you play the same time every time. It's more like, hey, let's kind of have a conversation. The songs don't turn out the same way every night, you know. And then there's a couple rock bands. Verve Pipe is very much like a, hey, we play it the same way every time, and it kills. And then another group called Nathan Walton. I play with too many groups. I gotta narrow it down, but yeah, Nathan Walton is like a kind of a funk country grunge. Soundgarden meets probably Bill Withers. Like it's good. I really like playing with an eclectic group of people, and now there's like talks of getting a residency at a bar in Grand Rapids for like a jazz night. So I'm working on my straight ahead. So yeah.
And you said you like to play with musicians and other bands. Mm-hmm. So my question is, what does it take for being a musician in 21st century? You know, mm-hmm. What is involved to be a musician, to get even gig?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, I I always feel somewhat like, you know, I haven't been there, but I guess in terms of like just whatever experience I can share, all I do is practice as much as humanly possible without falling apart, and
so it's a lot of practice.
Yeah, because you know I wanna be able to go out there. If it's like an open mic and somebody says, hey, you want to come jam for a song that like you've never played, be able to have enough like physical skill to be able to like play whatever is necessary, and then have like the mental capacity and like headroom to be able to think fast on the spot and like, oh, I'm gonna let them like, you know, play whatever riff it is for 4 bars, and then okay, I kind of got it in my head. Now I'm gonna come in and try to make it work, kind of thing. And then in the last couple of years, it's been doing a lot more on Instagram and Facebook, trying to. I personally post a lot of videos, and you guys will probably see them because those are the ones I sent you. But a lot of what I've been doing is I'll take my phone and just put it on the ground at a gig, so that you can see like what I'm playing and kind of what I'm hearing from like my point of view on the stage or the corner of the restaurant or wherever it is. But I really like that kind of reference point because it shows people that like I'm just a human playing my heart out to the best of my ability to make people, dance or feel some sort of, emotion of the song, or maybe they have their own interpretation, but I'm just the vessel for the sound coming at you, So
I personally really like when I see the musicians, they put the phone and they play the music. You kind of feel so close, and you kind of
communal.
can feel, emotions or the atmosphere, they are, and especially if it's plays, like
Right.
we may not be there, but
Right.
through the video you introduce, the musicians are really like can introduce us to so many places, other musicians, and the music that they are.
Right,
playing.
and I've had talks with my friends too, like I've always thought there was like two ways to think about music. Like you think about it like people in a room or on a stage like making it, and then especially like nowadays when they have really nice production and processing, it sounds like some weird like heavenly ethereal like sound, and I like to have a balance of that, like I like to play with groups that like it sounds like some magical thing, and then the other side maybe like the more drummy stuff, more conversational, where it's like these are humans interacting with each other to make something that touches the audience in a positive and hopefully endearing way, I guess. So yeah.
And when you play and do the music, how it's make you feel? Like, do you like? I don't know if you heard the expression that music, it's a very powerful tool, that bring message to the people.
Yeah.
So what it's when you play the music, how it's make you feel, and what you would like to express through the music one?
Mm-hmm. It depends. It really does. I mean, like in every musical scenario, I guess the bottom line is I'm just, even if I'm just listening, I am so like at peace and happy, just to be like in the presence of a sound that isn't just like, somebody throwing rocks, I guess, like, I mean, even if it was, it might be a cool sound, but yeah, it mainly depends on the situation, because I know nowadays a lot more people are starting to try to get into different types of music, just from an audience perspective, and there's always going to be those people that are like, yeah, I'm into everything, and it's either, Katy Perry or Ariana Grande, and it's like, oh, that's way different. Well, yeah, they're different artists, but it's not necessarily, different. But I guess in the sense of like how it makes me feel, man, I could listen to like.
Like, why do you like? Yeah, why even you decide to be a musician?
Oh, like playing wise.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, kind of the same thing. Like, what if I'm playing a funk tune? I'm really bad at dancing, but like if I'm playing a funk tune, it might give me some of that like side to side kind of fun vibes. And then if I'm playing like a ballad with verve pipe, and it's like supposed to be really like emotional and I guess serious, it gives me kind of like a somber, like, I don't know, I start to feel it right in the tear ducts. You know what I mean? Like, I like having a variety of emotions because everybody's mood changes. Minute to minute and hour by hour, day by day. So I like to enhance those with listening to different types of music and playing as many as I can because that's like my personal bubble of emotion. It's just trying to express all of them as I feel them, I guess.
Welcome to the Artist Voices. For those of you who just tuned in, we are here at Public Media Network with local musician Zach. He's a drummer, and we are here to learn what does it take to be a musician at 21st century. Thank you for watching us. And I would like to learn more about you, Zach,
Yeah.
and if you can share with us what was the best advice you ever received from another musician and how it's helped you.
Whoa, the best advice I ever got. I don't know. Honestly, like I can't remember. I know it's probably terrible because I know everybody's always got like well, this guy told me, this thing, and it kept me in line. But
or maybe influence the person that influenced you the most or inspired.
That inspired me the most? I would say Carter, the drummer from Dave Matthews Band. He's the man. He's got such a positivity about him and a joy when he plays. And, like even watching interviews of him, he's like the happiest cat ever. Definitely like not the choppiest or the best drummer out there, but it's like, sometimes when people say like their favorite band is AC/DC, it's like, they're not the best by any means, but they have like this energy in, their songs. Yeah, Carter is super influential. I think everybody in my life currently is inspirational in one way or another. And I know that might be like, oh, of course, but I like to think about it like I get a piece of their soul and their like thought process when I talk to them, and try to really apply how they do things to the way I try to do things, like the way I might talk to someone, interact with them just in person, or like, oh, maybe you should like post more on social media. Oh yeah, I'll definitely try to do that. Hey, try to, put your phone, landscape mode or right side up for posting, like little stuff like that, like for drumming, like, keep sticks in your hands, don't like, do that stuff, like anything like that. There's a guy named Scott Pellegrim who lives in Grand Haven, who's like one of the world-renowned clinicians that I have the very fortunate ability to go to his house on Thursdays, like every other week, and I'll help him give lessons, and he gives me a lot of really, really, really useful business and drumming advice, but a lot of like life and business tips and tricks. And
so musician in 21st century, it's not enough just to know the music, right? You have to know the business aspect, all those things. So could you tell us what the biggest challenges the musicians are facing today, and maybe personally you, and how to overcome those challenges, maybe like?
I think COVID is really a kick in the butt these days. Even for like non-musicians, trying to get a regular job. So like I would think that like pre-COVID full-time musicians nowadays are starting to think about getting normal jobs, and even like currently I'm still like on that fence of, should I or shouldn't I, but I'm sticking with the musician route, till the end of time. But I think in general, like COVID aside, I think it's really useful for people to have like a mentor. And I think a lot of people nowadays do have that. Somebody who's older and more experienced and has been around the block and can say, hey, like, this might bite you later. And trying to play with as many different people as you can to get your kind of chameleon skills together. Because nowadays it's really hard to build yourself being a one-trick pony. Like people's careers can flourish doing like one thing. There's a guy named Rich Redman who plays for Jason Aldean that I had the opportunity to talk with on FaceTime and kind of pick his brain a little bit on like the business aspect and how he does his thing from day to day. And that dude went to Berkeley and he has the ability to play 4-mallet marimba and vibraphone, and he can read charts like a mother, and he can play everything under the sun. But that dude makes his living playing for 2 hours to 30,000 people a night, and he gets paid bank doing it. But he has all those other skills that he can use if he wanted to go tour with anybody else, or play a local gig with some of his buddies in town. I'd say get a mentor, get
like a musician mentor, or like
yes, yeah.
So the mentor should be a musician who's like to understand the
right.
area.
If you have other people around you that are in different business fields, like that's one of the things that's helped me out a lot. Is like as I'm going through life, I'm getting friends that are lawyers or work on cars. Like everybody can help each other out. I can give him backstage passes to a show and he can fix my car. Like I think that's how the world should work. You should share what you got, and everybody should
helping each other. Yeah.
Generally, a lot of the people I look up to now that Scott's one of them, and another guy named Tom Wall who's in Cosmic Knot. Among others, they've always said just keep your foot on the gas, don't let up, and do everything you possibly can to keep the grind and keep the work ethic. Like that's my thing. I just want to do everything all the time. I know not everybody wants to do that, but at least I guess if I could give my best piece of advice would just be to do everything you possibly can to achieve what you want. So if you are a hobby musician, it's not the worst thing if you're not posting social media all the time. I don't post all the time. Even famous people don't, or not all of them post all the time. But doesn't hurt, I guess, in the end.
Yeah, I think, like I said, I personally really like to see other musicians post. You just learn a lot, just to see, and it's also like kind of like encourage you to do the same thing. Be brave,
Mm-hmm.
because usually musicians, even though they're on public, they're not really. Yeah, they tend to hide it. It's right now with the media we start to see more musicians, but like before that, we don't know. It's just if you only attend this concert, then you will see this person. But right now, with this social media, it's more opportunity to learn about the person.
Right.
What is behind?
Yeah, I used to have a big problem with that, like just the fear of like putting a phone down. Oh, people are gonna like hear how I really sound.
To show your vulnerability.
Right. So it's definitely been a confidence booster.
Yeah, I agree.
And it's actually been a good tool for, you know, getting better. So I can look back and watch and be like, oh, I messed up here. Okay, now I know how to fix that. You know, it helps the practice routine. It helps all that stuff. And lately, I'll actually like have a little bit of a mess up in there, and I'll post it anyway. So I'm like, hey, this is how I do it. But musicians also talk a lot about like recovery, you know, how you recover in the middle of a song. So I think that's one of my stronger suits, so I'm not necessarily upset if I mess up. So
Any project that you're working right now or planning to work in the future?
Yes, I am in a band with some of my buddies from Grand Rapids. It's called Jude Lawley and the Flux. Flux as in flux capacitor from Back to the Future. And that's like a fun kind of punk band. And we're going to be starting recording on that in, I think, early February, maybe the end of this month. But yeah, Jude Lawley is fronting that, and we've been friends for a while. We were in a band called Sky King a long time ago. And yeah, we're doing it at my buddy's place, Electric Moon Studios, and this is all in Grand Rapids. This will be like the debut album, but he's put out like three like home demo EPs, so people could kind of get an idea. But yeah, that's something I'm really excited about, among, you know, just staying busy in the meantime and practicing my ass off. Yeah.
So how people can find the information about you, about your gigs, you know, to learn more about you as a musician and support you?
Instagram, Zach, ZACH_Dubay, DOOBIE, and then Zach Dubay on Facebook. I am not cool enough. I don't have a website yet. My bad. I'm working on it. Very, very, very slowly.
Basically the Instagram and
Yeah.
Facebook.
I have a TikTok. I think it's Paradoobie because it's a play off the paradiddle drum rudiment. So yeah, if you just look up Zach, I think it should come up. But I don't do TikTok all that often. That's not my bag. It's funny though. TikTok's really funny, but it's.
I heard it's a great platform.
It is. It's just super addicting. like all get out, man. But yeah, it's a good time.
Thank you so much, Zach, for being with us tonight and sharing about you, about your work.
Yeah,
We appreciate to learn about you and what does it take to be a musician of the 21st century.
Absolutely,
Thank you so much.
I appreciate it. This is like, for all you that can't see the room, this is like a really cool TV studio, so I dig it.
We are so glad to have you. Is there anything else you would like to add, or?
Peace, love, and music.
That's, yeah.
Yeah, keep it real and don't get too serious about anything, you know, just play your heart out, I guess. That's what I try to do, yeah.
Just do your best.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you
so much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Well, this concludes this episode of Artist Voices, where we believe it's essential for artist voices to be heard. And we were here with Zach Dubay. We learned about him and what does it take to be a musician at 21st century. Thank you so much for watching us, and we will see you next time.